Glad to have you back. It's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television. We're looking at a very critical issue that is very important for the development of the West Africa sub-region. There we saw that inauguration yesterday of the Ghana's president, talking about John Dramani Mahama, making a return to power after 8 years out of government. Don't forget, he lost his re-election bid to John Nana Addo, who is the now the former president of Ghana there. But he came back yesterday. He took office yesterday, and of course, many African leaders from across the continent, from across the country, the countries on the continent were there, and of course, other international partners were also at that inauguration. The Nigerian president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was there, and he made some very important remarks there at that event there. They called for regional unity, they called for economic integration, and of course, they called for how to address the poverty that is bedevils the region. There was also on the table as well at that inauguration there. Let's quickly look at some of the outcome of that inauguration and how Africa, and of course, indeed, particularly the regional African region, talking about West Africa sub-region, can benefit from if there is a close relationship there. I'm being joined now by Aliyu Ilias. He's an economist who also understands the international affairs politics. Good morning, Mr. Aliyu.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, it's a pleasure having you. Let's get your take at the Ghana president there did talk about unity, of course, how to address issues of poverty, of course, the unemployment rate within the West Africa sub-region. He did talk about the inequality in terms of economic prosperity in the region yesterday. And of course, he did promise to address some of those concerns that we're having almost everywhere on the continent. How do you view that statement? How do you think he come prepared to address that concerns?
Right, because he's a president before now and he's coming in for the second time, he must have understood not only Ghana but the entire West Africa and Africa at large. So for me, I think it's quite a good start for him to identify that there's a problem, and it's not an economic problem. Because if you know the basis why the president was unable to really bring his person to the presidency is because of the level of the economic decay. And that's why Ghanaians decided.
Okay, so we're having some issues there with network. We hope we get
Alone,
it.
the problem of
Aliyu
West
back.
Africa.
Quite a whole lot of issues there with regards to what the incoming, the new government in Ghana will have to deal with. You have to deal with an estimated unemployment rate of 10.2%. Okay, Ali is back. Ali, continue along your thoughts there. We lost you momentarily.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Coming in because it was the president before, so now you have to use this experience and put the candidate of president and I do because so to
We seems to be still having a network issue there with Ali. We hope we get that correctly there before the show ends. Of course, I was talking about the unemployment rate in Ghana. There, of course, as at 2024, the end of 2024, it was estimated at 592,000 Ghanaian, of course, which slightly increased from the previous years, were out of employment. That number could be more, given the rate of unemployment in recent times. If you look at Ghana unemployment rate in 2021, it was around 10.5%. In 2022, it moved further to 11.8%. In 2023, it moved downward to 9.6%. Of course, in 2024, it ended at 10.2%. And don't forget, as at 2015, the unemployment rate peaked at almost 7% at the time. Ali, if you're back, I'm talking about the issues that Dramani will have to deal with now in his young government. The unemployment rate is there very high. The NPR of Ghana is also very, very high. What should be his immediate response to some of these figures that are not looking good for Ghanaian economy?
Right. I think Dramani have a lot to do in terms of the economy. And the first one is to look at debt itself. If he can continue to borrow, or he will also hold on time, because if you look at Ghana debt to GDP is a major issue. You must also let us know that all the macroeconomic problems such as unemployment, inflation, to solve those problems to actually move on in the economy. Perhaps he inherit those things. So I think he has to back to the level of economy for the next 1 year.
Mr. Ali, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. You said that he inherited all of these things, but government, as you know, is a continuum. Someone took over from him when he was, when he lost his re-election bid. Now he is back again in government, and of course, he inherited some of these figures that you did mention. When we look at the Ghana inflation too, as at March 2024, it came down to 20.9%. That's the lowest that since March 2022, talking about the Ghana inflation number there. How much of policies, streamlining do you want him to do to be able to continue to bring down inflation numbers, given the fact that the NPR number is higher than the inflation number in Ghana?
Right. I think the first thing is to find a way to stabilize the macroeconomy, because if you look at it very well, to actually economy, there are other things that need to fix to be in place. Among them is for him to create enabling environment for business. The more business flourish, the more employment. Employment is the major problem of Ghana as it were today. And you know that in Ghana also the major export is and if gold doesn't really find its way down to the other side, it becomes a problem. And also, like I said, is depriving the manufacturing sector and the agricultural sector. So I think I need to more to know that the agricultural sector is so important, and one of the inflation is driven by food. I think that's what so before you actually stabilize the economy.
Wow, we seem to be having a very tough network challenges with Aliyu this morning. But if you look at Ghana, GDP per capita is also estimated to be around $2,231.19 there. Of course, if we compare this to other African countries like Nigeria, our GDP per capita is one of the lowest now in West Africa sub-region. Ghana non-oil economy is also projected to grow by 4.3% in Q1, and of course 6.6% in Q2 and 7.7% in Q2 of 2024. We look to see if they were able to achieve that growth projection. Mr. Aliyu, Ghana has a very strong GDP projection. IMF did say that, trading economy did say that Ghana GDP will increase to as much as $5,624 per capita. Do you see that coming through under Dramani government?
Right, I think Dramani is best, but you know that what is happening before that Dramani is going to actually build upon it. In economy, it does come and what is what is coming up before you are going to work on and actually because Dramani is an experienced person. You understand the dynamics of the economy and to dynamic as of attract more investment so that they achieve that GDP as projected.
All right there. Mr. Liu, there's also an issue around the regional integration. We saw some members of the ECOWAS who have left the regional bloc, talking about the likes of Burkina Faso, talking about Niger, talking about Mali, Guinea, and a host of them who have left the regional integration, talking about ECOWAS now. But yesterday we saw the surprise appearance of the the head of state of the Republic of Burkina Faso, talking about Ibrahim Traore at the inauguration yesterday. In fact, a lot of people say his appearance stole the show at the event there as well. How much of unity do you think this incoming government now, who seems to have a very close tie with Nigeria president, how much of cooperation do you think, or unity do you think they are coming together, of course, will form for the West Africa sub-region?
Show that leading local countries cooperation between Ghana and Nigeria will not difference. However, those that are under the military are that they cannot flow in the democratic manner. Why Nigeria has a lot of responsibility to assure, to make sure that they actually
Seems to be having a
come
very
back
difficult
to the
network
fold
challenges
of
there to get
ECOWAS.
Ali. It's difficult. We can barely hear his contribution on the show today. We must apologize to our viewers for the network challenges coming from Aliyu there. Just before we wrap on the show, we'll look at some of the challenges before the president of Ghana, who took office yesterday, talking about Dramani Mahama. We're talking about the unemployment rate, the inflation numbers, the NPR numbers that he has to deal with as he takes office today. There's also a very impressive GDP per capita projection by, of course, by an international newspapers, which did say that Ghana GDP will grow to as much as 5,634 per individual. If you're a Ghanaian, and of course you look at your GDP per capita, according to trading economists, you'll be entitled to $5,634. That is a very huge number there for Ghana economy. We'll look to see whether John Dramani Mahama will be able to achieve that growth before his tenure expired there. We also see that the president of Ghana also has a very strong tie with Nigeria. Of course, Ghanaians and Nigerians are brothers. They are involved in a lot of businesses together. Quite a whole lot of things that bring us, that usually bring us together, talking about the language we speak and kind of the synergy between Nigeria and Ghana. We look to see how that will cement that relationship under Dramani Mahama government. And it's on that note that we wrap up the show today. We'll be back tomorrow for more. I am Yusuf Akogu.